we are starting a new unit on the skeleton. This first page of the skeleton notes just has some basic stuff on it, but I do want to make sure that you don't neglect it in your studying. Make sure that you're comfortable with the different functions of the skeleton. I came up with a little mnemonic: bones must support most people, or BMSMP. And each one is like the first letter here. So bones, or blood cell formation, what we call hematopoiesis, movement, support, mineral and growth factor storage, so things like calcium, and then of course protection. The rib cage protects your heart and your lungs. You should know by now that you have 206 bones in the body. There's a little song, 206 bones in the body, 206, that's all there is, except if you're a baby, in which case you're born with lots more, and then as a child grows, more and more of those fuse. And then here I've just kind of broken down some of the different numbers of bones in different parts, which you're probably getting familiar with in lab anyway. Then I want to highlight the function of the nasal turbinates. You have nasal conchae, you have 3 of them, and they're these bumps, like if you were going to look inside of your nose. Against the wall, there are 3 turbinates. So when the air comes in, it gets stuck in these eddies and it slows it down. The superior and middle nasal conchaes are actually bumps on the ethmoid bone, and then the inferior nasal conchae is its own bone. And that turbulence of the air coming through gives the air time to be warmed up, first of all, so the cold air doesn't damage your alveoli, cleaned also, so it doesn't damage, and humidify. I was thinking about this. Oftentimes in meditation, the instructions given will be to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and that makes sense with our physiology. Breathing in through our nose gives the air time to be cleaned, warmed, and humidified, and then breathing out through the mouth, because the air is already warm. At that point, it doesn't need to go through the nose again. And when you go running, it might be something to keep in mind too. When you're exercising, trying to breathe in through your nose so that the air is cleaned and warmed up before it gets to your lungs. Okay, then I also wanted to mention the sinuses. You have a lot of sinuses, and if you have allergies or problems with your sinuses, you are well aware of where they all are. The frontal bone, that could be give you like a headache kind of by your eyes. Then the sphenoid and the ethmoid bones are both going to be, if you feel pressure almost behind your eyes, you kind of pinch the bridge of your nose to try and relieve that. That's these 2. And then the maxillary bones is if you feel pressure on your maxilla bone, basically on either side of your nose. So there are cavities in there, and they're lined with a mucous membrane, and they should not be filled up with mucus. But if you have inflammation going on in those mucous membranes, you can have too much mucus in there, and it presses, and you get what's called sinus pressure. Okay, and then the hyoid bone is the only bone in the whole body that doesn't articulate with another bone. That means it's the only bone that doesn't connect to another bone. It's only held in place by muscles and cartilages. And then let's not forget the inner ear bones, the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. There are 3 in each ear.